Hi there, traders, and welcome to Trade the Structure. Now, we're going to do a quick video on planning a trade and trading your plan, obviously. So this is something that I would do every day, okay? Every morning, I get together a bunch of charts. We've got some crypto, some indices, gold and bits and pieces, the trades that I might be interested in for the day. What I'll do is put all the different levels that I'm keen on and how I expect to trade those. So I'll mark those out every morning. We ship them off to our group in the Discord channel, and then I trade accordingly actually to the plan. Obviously the aim is to trade exactly to the plan, but sometimes it just doesn't work out, so you may have to make some adjustments along the way. So what I'm going to do now is go through the Nikkei. All right, so we'll go through, I only had the 2 trades for the day. Called it quits nice and early, but we'll go through the plan and then we'll just go through and how it actually played out. Okay, on the screen, you'll see a couple of snapshots that I'll show you. The first one we're going to take a look at here is a 5-minute chart of the underlying index for the Nikkei. Okay, so this is something I do every morning as well, posted in the channel, the Discord channel, and then just see where it's going to open. So you get an idea of where it's going to open from the underlying or the CFD. So I trade around the CFDs, which is around the index. Find out where it's going to open, and at this case you can see that it was looking to open up around the 400 point mark, okay, and that took us right up into some resistance around 26,140. Now trading resistance is kind of tough, especially when it gaps up there, so you've got to have your plan ahead of how you're going to attack it. Okay, are you going to wait till it breaks out, retest it and go, or are you going to try to get in if it starts to consolidate at that level expectations that it's going to take to kick off, or are you going to go trade short off a lower high? Okay, so they're the scenarios I would mark up. So we'll get on to the second one now. Now, this is the other one I'll post out. This is a 15-minute chart of the CFD pricing, okay? And you can see that the market, tanked yesterday and then made its way all the way back up in the overnight trade. And that's where you get the pricing. So what I'm looking at is the closing price, okay, where the underlying index is closed, which is about 4 p.m. Sydney time. And then just basically see where it closed in the overnight trade, which was up about 398 points. So obviously I go and translate that across to the underlying index chart, and then I can start to build myself a picture and a bit of a plan for the day. So I knew that if it was going to trade up, and you've got this big resistance zone through here, which actually flushed into the previous session and then straight back down. So what I was looking for is basically a flush up into that zone, okay, and then to work off a lower high. That's what I expected would happen, something similar to yesterday. And considering the US was closed, I wouldn't have expected to kick on too hard. Or what I was expecting is to sort of consolidate at these highs, around these highs, potentially just below that resistance zone, and then start to trade up and through that level. Okay, so I want to take a long off that level. Otherwise, we might just gap down and then hold a lower high and press all the way back down to that low. Okay, so what I've got there is my trading scenarios. I've marked it up. I've marked up my 2 key levels that I want to be looking at. Okay, and then trading around those key levels according to the price action that starts to play out. All right, so what we'll do now is go into the trading chart. All right, so here is a 1-minute chart of the Nikkei, and you can see that's about where it opens at 9:45. Well, that's the very next candle. Okay, so you got this green candles where it opened. It sort of had a bit of a flush down slightly, and then pushed up into the high, straight down, straight back up. So you can see it was getting a bit choppy. All right, so what I was looking for, I started to see this sort of price action through here, and then as it was starting to come up, I'm thinking it's not really sinking. Okay, in saying that, I actually did take a short. So the first trade was a short in here. So one of my entry techniques is to take the a 3-minute setup, 3 candle setup, sorry. Not, well, 3-minute setup, but it's a 3 candle setup. I like to see the previous 2 candles. It breaks the low, I'm in short, and it breaks the high, the 3 candles on a pullback, I'm in long. Okay, so just to mark it up on what I should have been trading, and actually, got a bit excited. So that was probably the candle setup there. Okay, so you got the candle's pushed up as a pullback. The trend is down. It's starting to work its way lower off a very minor double top there. Work its way lower. You've got the press down, a lower high here, another press down, sort of into the lows. Pop back up. We've got a lower high coming into play again, and that should have been the setup. Instead, I took it a little bit earlier. I basically took it on this red candle here. Okay, I sort of took the short, and you can see that very next candle, bang, up we went. So pretty much I knew instantly once it got in that I was going to be on the wrong side of the market. Okay. But what that did give me, by getting on the wrong side of the market, you're obviously focusing in a bit more. And then you'll start to see a few other things start to play out. So what that did was, okay, we've got this kind of a channel through here. All right, let's just show that. We've got this kind of setup coming into play. I think it was about here. All right, so what I was looking at is basically a really small double top in there. Okay, pressing down, you've got your lower high coming to play. So I thought this was going to play out. It was going to go through these lows, and we're going to trade off the major resistance, which we got through here in the blue line, down into new lows, and I can get a short on. Okay, and that's why I basically jumped in short. As soon as I knew that wasn't playing out and you started to reverse there, Then I'm on the lookout for longs, and I'm trying to trade a different kind of a setup off my plan. All right, and yet what you can see is it started to press up here, and I think it was about here I jumped in long. All right, so I was in long. Well, let's just draw that up here. All right, so I was in long somewhere around here, just on that break. Okay, so what you see, we're starting to hold these high lows in here, and we've got all these high lows holding. All right, then I've got this inside level here I traded from, looking for an expansion up and through these highs. It's stalled. Okay, so I had to hold through a bit of heat. It's stalled in here, come all the way back. I had my stop under this low. Okay, so I kept out of trouble. Really, I was actually I was in two minds at that stage. I was thinking maybe I should close it out. Maybe I'm going to take a second loss. Let's just give it a bit of room. Okay, fair play to put the stop under that level there. I was happy with that. We could just say it was down about there. I was under that level. It stayed in. Okay, as soon as I saw this action here, I knew that I was probably going to get on the right side of the market, and it was starting to play out. So what we've got there, you've got quite a bit of consolidation. So the market's gapped up. We know that. Okay, and we saw that from the index, the underlying index chart. It's gapped up about 400 points. That's a big gap. All right. If it starts to consolidate, there's probably going to be more in it to the upside, and that's what I was looking for at this stage. Before that, I was looking for a bit of a rollover, a bit of a pullback, to close some of that gap at the very least, and this didn't play out that way. So the market was still strong. Okay, so we've got to bear that in mind and then start to work off the long side. And we've got this long in here, held that through there, and I basically got out around this zone there. All right, so you can see that, look, it did test it a few times. Maybe could have got a slightly better price. I took my first half, I think, around the expansion of this candle here, then waited a few more as it started to fade. I just took the second half off, okay, and then called it a day there. So you can see that, look, that wasn't really long into the session. It was probably just over an hour into the session, and that was it. It was all done. I was happy to trade just those two trades and then call it quits. So you can see how that actually played out quite nicely. And if we just scrunch that in a bit more, you can see how the market has continued to tick its way higher. All right, so that was according to some of the plan that I mentioned before that we marked up on the charts, and then it played out really nicely. And it's just a matter of once you start to get more data in, you've got the open. The open can get choppy. We know that lately has been very choppy. The market is there, and you've got the algorithms working over the market, trying to churn people out, chop them in, get them in a trade, churn them back out again, get them in a trade. And here's the perfect example. Now, this is an area where I was looking at, and after I got stopped out of this trade here, I realized that this was sort of a two leg down. You got this big flush down, pop up, push down. I should have been short in there, and I should have, instead of getting short later on, I should have been short in there and then potentially held it through. And then once it started to pop up, I could have taken a break even trade at the very least, or a minus gain on that trade, because you can see that we really shouldn't have had it. If it was going to be a powerful move down, we should have been down one foul swoop, had a minor pullback, and gone down in another foul swoop. Okay, so instead you've got this big pop up, big strong, ramp back up to the upside, and two legs down. So when you get that hesitation on the downside, the hesitation, I've got one move, consolidate slightly for about 4 or 5 minutes, another move down. That's not exactly what you want to see if you want to get on the short side. So I really should have noticed that in here, and it didn't set up, like I said, it didn't set up according to my the strategy I've got in play of my trading plan. But I took it anyway, couldn't help myself, and I paid for it, okay? But actually, like I said, once that played out there and I could see it start to work its way up, I knew this was broken, okay? We're starting to work our way higher, then I'm looking for an entry on the upside, okay? So all in all, it was a really good day. I was happy with that, and that's the way it played out. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you do like what you hear, it'd be great if you can jump on the website to have a look around. That's www.tradethestructure.com. And jump on the YouTube channel and just leave us a like and give us a thumbs up. All right, guys. Until next time, I'll speak to you soon.